Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. We are live from the University of Edinburgh, where it's a beautiful, crisp, sunny winter's day today. Delighted that so many of you could join us for this webinar with SI UK. My name is Michelle, and I'm the Student Recruitment Manager from the School of Social and Political Science. And I'm delighted to also introduce you to my colleague Toby, who's the Student Recruitment Manager from Edinburgh Law School. We're going to be taking you through a short presentation. We'll be showing you some information about our beautiful city, our university, and why we think you should consider coming here to study. And Toby and I will introduce you briefly to each of our schools respectively, speak a little to the application process as well, and then we'll be very happy to take all of your questions. So hopefully I am now going to share my screen with the presentation. Okay, so hopefully, let me just slideshow from the beginning. Okay, so hopefully this is now working. I'm relying on Toby to shout out on screen and let me know if it's not, but it worked fine when we tested earlier. So as I said, a very warm welcome to you all today. I think I've actually covered this already as well. So yes, let's just get started. So firstly, welcome to Scotland virtually. You'll see here a picture on screen of the Isle of Skye, which is one of many beautiful areas that we have here in our country. Scotland is, of course, part of the United Kingdom, and if you look at a map of the UK, we are the landmass at the very top of the main part of the island to the north of England. So you obviously have London, the capital city, down in the south. And then if you were to take a train, travel north, it's about 4.5 hours up to Edinburgh, which is the capital city in Scotland. Scotland, very well known as welcoming, safe and diverse country with a vibrant cultural scene, positive social policies and many green spaces, which you can see here in the Highlands and Islands. Very picturesque. But we do have busy and lively cities, Edinburgh being our capital, and Glasgow and Aberdeen as well. We have a total population of around 5.4 million, and this represents 8.5% of the total UK population. We're very well connected, especially here in Edinburgh, with good links to major UK cities, and many of our students do take the opportunity to visit London and other parts of the UK whilst they're travelling with us, which is very easy for them to do so. We also have our international airport here in Edinburgh, so very easy for students to reach us. Many of our students who come from India transit through the Middle East because we have direct flights to both Doha and Dubai, which allows for a one-stop connection to many airports across India. You can also fly via Amsterdam or Paris or London or many other points in Europe as well. In terms of our city of Edinburgh, we're quite a small city. Our population is around about 500,000, very friendly, very easy to walk around the city centre. We don't have a metro system or anything like that. The university campus itself is spread throughout the city in many different areas and different streets, and it's very easy to just go on foot from there to the student accommodation. We do have very reliable public transport system. We have an excellent bus service which runs on a radial route around the city and also crosses into the city centre from all different points as well. Only really necessary to take a bus if you're planning to travel to the outskirts of the city or further afield. Within the city centre, very easy to just go on foot. Edinburgh is well known as one of the safest cities in the UK and as the UK's second greenest city because of the amount of parks and countryside that we have nearby. We are also a UNESCO World Heritage Site and home to the Edinburgh Festival Fringe, which takes place every summer and is the world's largest performing arts festival. Many of our postgraduate students, of course, will be here in the summer and will get involved maybe in part-time work or getting involved in many of the activities in the festival. And we have some pictures here on screen of our beautiful city in the second picture from the bottom right, you can see that's Edinburgh Castle, which is absolutely stunning. To the left there, we have our main sort of shopping area within the modern Newtown, Princess Street, and many different sites around the city. As you can see, obviously, we have glorious sunshine, blue sky every day of the week here in Edinburgh. Um, Unfortunately, it does get a little bit colder in the winter, but we still often have beautiful days, lovely sunny day today. And in the winter, in the summer rather, it never gets too warm. We have quite a temperate climate. And now just coming on to introduce our university itself. One of the top universities targeted for recruitment by employers both in the UK and further afield as well. We have a 96.5% graduate employability rate, and our graduates are ranked 24th in the world by employers according to the QS World University Rankings 2025. We have an award-winning career service, and they will be with you to support you throughout your degree study, but also for up to 2 years after you finish your studies with us. The university is very highly acclaimed throughout the world, currently recognised as 27th in the QS World Rankings 2025. And as I said, the career service and all of our academics as well will work with you to equip you with the skills, insights, and perspectives to help you balance your employability and build a successful future. And you probably are aware, but in case you are not, there is a graduate route visa, which our postgraduate students are eligible for. And this allows you to remain in the UK and study for, and not study, and work rather for up to 2 years post-graduation. This is a very popular route for many of our students. The postgraduate top programmes start in September, and you usually finish, so submitting your dissertation August the following year, and you have your graduation in November. Many students will use this further 2 years as an opportunity for some sort of internship or employment here in the UK to gain some experience before thinking about their future career plans. So very good opportunity there. And as I mentioned already, very well, highly known by employers, both here in the UK and throughout the world as well. And we have our award-winning career service, which I think I have already mentioned also. In terms of life at the University of Edinburgh, we have the University Students' Association, which is commonly referred to as UEFA as its short abbreviation, who are our student union. They are open to all students, regardless of level or study or the mode of teaching. And they are the home to our student societies, to our sabbatical officers. They have student representatives, very, very vocal student voice. And I definitely would encourage all of you who are thinking of coming to study with us to think about getting involved with the student union. You could perhaps be a representative for your course, for example, and then be the voice for your cohort and speak on behalf of your peers on the issues that matter most to them. We have more than 70 sports clubs and teams which are administered by the Students' Union. These are open to all students from across the university. I always like to encourage new students to think about joining one of the sports clubs. You'll find every sport you've ever heard of and many sports that you possibly haven't heard of. But it's a great opportunity not just to try something new, but to meet many other new students as well. You might find something that you enjoy, that you want to continue with throughout the year, but even if you don't, you still will have connected with many others who are trying out a new sport. So I would definitely recommend getting involved. We also have the university gym, which offers competitive pricing for students who want to be members. You'll find many student discounts available right throughout the city. So always ask whenever you're doing your shopping or going to a restaurant, particularly if it's close to campus, you may well find that there is a discount available. We have a fantastic learning support and disability service. They are here to support all of our students. And I would encourage anyone who feels that they may want to take up some of those services to please reach out to them ahead of arriving here in Edinburgh, as that will allow the staff the opportunity to make sure that they have everything in place ready to support you when you arrive with us. We also have the Advice Place, which is also part of the Students' Union, and they offer all sorts of information for students. You can speak to a counsellor there as well, and that will be completely confidential, in addition to the student counselling service offered by the university. So two different services there, which you can tap into. In terms of support for learning and teaching, whichever degree programme you're enrolled onto, you will have a programme director who will lead your studies. They will be available for academic support. You'll also have a named student advisor within your school. That will be a member of the professional services team who work with current students, and they are there to support you right throughout your studies. They will be in touch with you, especially when you first arrive, to check how you settled in, if there's any advice or support that they could provide. But you also are welcome to reach out to them at any time. They can provide lots of assistance themselves, but they can also signpost you to other services, such as the counselling team or the disability team. Within School of Social and Political Science, we have a student development office. They supplement the activities provided by the University Central Careers team. So they run lots of activities where they bring local employers and employers from further afield onto campus. They run networking events, opportunities for placements, and further ahead career opportunities as well. There's also great support in terms of CV writing or preparing for job applications. We have a similar programme in the School of Law, which is called the Career Opportunities Programme. And again, the staff there hold all sorts of networking opportunities to introduce you to local employers that may be of interest to you. And there is support for applications for those sorts of activities. We also have the Institute for Academic Development in the university. All students are very welcome to engage with their activities. They run support, which is particularly useful for new students at the start of the year. So look at essay writing skills. There are workshops on English language for academic writing. So definitely would encourage getting involved with those. And of course, in both schools, we have peer-to-peer study groups as well, where other students will be available to support, perhaps PhD students who have been on campus for a year or more already. In terms of costs and funding for studying at the university, tuition fees do vary by programme and by fee status, so it is quite difficult to give an average figure. We'd recommend that you check the university website page for the specific degree that you are interested in. In terms of a recommended budget, we recommend probably about £1,000 to £1,100 per month for living costs. This will cover your accommodation if you stay in the university accommodation. We do guarantee for all of our new postgraduate students from out with the local area that we will be able to find you a place in university accommodation if you would like to take that up. As long as you follow our due process and deadlines and provide all the paperwork, and usually the deadline is the 31st of July to make sure that we have time to have everything in place. So you don't need to worry about sourcing your own accommodation privately. It's not compulsory to stay in university accommodation. So if you do know some friends perhaps who are also studying in Edinburgh and you wanted to get together and rent an apartment privately, you absolutely can do that. Obviously, then you do become responsible for sorting out the paperwork and everything individually yourself. Whereas if you stay in the university accommodation, everything is very straightforward, and we'll take you through that. We would recommend checking the scholarship search tool on the university website to see if there are any scholarships which you might be eligible for. Again, depends on which programme you're applying for, but from time to time there are opportunities there, so definitely worth checking. And also worth checking at home as well, whether there's anything that you would be eligible to apply for. We are pleased to confirm that the India Merit Scholarship will be continuing again this year at the University of Edinburgh. The full terms and conditions are still to be published. I did check yesterday in case they'd been confirmed, but we're still waiting for them to be published. But the eligibility criteria is based on having achieved an undergraduate degree in India, which has been awarded at a minimum specified level. So it is based on your academic credentials. You also require to be domiciled in India, to hold international fee status, and to be fully or partially self-funded. So we wouldn't be able to award it to a student who already has a full scholarship from elsewhere, for example. And this will be an award of £5,000, which will be applied towards tuition fees for postgraduate taught on-campus students. So hopefully many of you would be eligible for that scholarship. And now I am going to hand you over to Toby. I should have checked, Toby, do you want me to just pass you control of the screen? I think there should be a button for you to request control.
Let me see. I think if you could maybe just go do the slides for me, Michelle.
Yeah, of course, no problem.
Sharing the screen, that would
of
be,
course, no problem.
Great. Thanks very much. So hi everyone, and yeah, a very warm welcome from Edinburgh. As Michelle said, my name's Toby, and I'm the Student Recruitment Manager at the law school. So thank you very much for attending today. So a bit of information about the law school. The law school was established in 1707, and so historically speaking, we've been around since the 16th century, and we've been training lawyers for over 300 years. The law school itself is a member of the Law Schools Global League and a member of various international and European consortiums and networks as well. And we really want to kind of emphasize that kind of internationalization as part of the identity, not only of the law school, but of the university as a whole. The university itself is ranked 13th in the world, according to the Times Higher Education World University Rankings, and is a very highly ranked and very well respected university and law school, both in the UK and internationally. The university itself is a research intensive university. We're highly ranked for the research that we produce, but at the same time, what that means to us is that in terms of our vision for teaching, it's about introducing you to that cutting edge thinking and research that is being undertaken at the law school. And we try to involve you in that and expose you to the sort of cutting edge research that our academics are undertaking. Michelle, can you go on to the next slide for me, please? And probably just the next one after that as well. Thank you. Okay, so just a little bit of information about more information about the kind of research side of things for the law school. As you see there, we've got a number of research centers and networks, and that's just to give you an idea of the areas of research that the law school is currently undertaking. And what I would say about this is there's a research center or network that is basically will cover any LLM program that you are studying, and you'll have a lot of opportunities to engage in the events and activities that those research centers and networks are undertaking. Next slide, please, Michelle. Thanks. Okay, so just a little bit of information about Old College. So we're based in the famous Old College campus, which was built between 1789 and 1827. It's a very historic building that's based in the center of the city, but in 2019, it was completely refurbished in a multi-million pound project. And on this slide, you can see some photos of the interior. We're really extremely proud of this building, and I want to say a few words about it because the way it's been designed, it really tells you a little bit about our priorities as an educational institution and our focus for our student community as well. So on this picture on the left-hand side, you'll see one of the main study spaces. This is the Senate room in the law library, and you'll see that the library is obviously in part a place to house our very large collections, but it's more than that. It's a space to work, to learn, and to collaborate with other students, not just a place to house books. And I think this gives you a real taste of the kind of learning we want to encourage here at Edinburgh Law School. Um, on the top middle picture, you'll see one of our teaching spaces. In terms of the really want you to look at the kind of layout here and the size of the room. I think this gives you a sense of the teaching experience at the law school. At postgraduate level, we are focused on small group teaching, so seminar style teaching. And so the arrangement of the tables is there to kind of facilitate discussion, not only between yourselves and the academic leading the seminars, but between yourself and other students as well. So peer focused discussion as well. The rooms are tech enabled, but not technology focused. So we have advanced technology in all of the teaching rooms, whatever is really needed to enhance our teaching, but it's not the focus of learning. The focus is really on those interactions between students and teachers, and that is what those rooms are designed to facilitate. There are also some social spaces in Old College. So in the top right there, you'll see a picture of the law school cafe. There are also other social spaces. And again, we're very keen to kind of facilitate the creation of kind of social hubs in our student community. And they are provided throughout social spaces within Old College. Next slide, please. Okay, so a bit about the what master's degrees that we offer here at Edinburgh. The law school offers probably one of the widest ranges of legal master's programs in the UK. As you can see, we offer LM degrees in commercial and corporate law, private law, criminal law, environmental law and human rights, but also in sort of technology law, intellectual property law, banking law and international law, as well as international economic law. And also, we also offer a general LLM and an LLM in medical law and ethics. And these programs are really offer an excellent opportunity to deepen your knowledge in an area of law that you're particularly interested in and want to specialize in as well. Next slide, please, Michelle. So a little bit about our students and our postgraduate student community. We're really proud of the diversity of our student community, and as we see on the slide, our master's students come from a huge variety of different countries from across the globe. So it's not just Scottish and UK students, but also European students and students from over 60 different countries from around the world. We do get outstanding students studying with us, and it is very competitive to get onto our programs, but we're really proud of the high quality students that study with us and become part of the law school's community. As I've mentioned earlier, you're not just going to be learning from your specialist teachers, but also from your peers and their wide variety of different backgrounds and perspectives. We have a postgraduate law student society. This is really important to us, and this is a representative society that is tasked with, say, organising social events for the law student community, but also acting as a space for dialogue between the faculty and its students. Another important point is that most of our master's programs are organised as specialist programs, and so you find that by joining one of these specialist degree programs, you're already being provided with a ready-made community of students with which to interact and, I'm sure, form friendships. Next slide, please. So I've already touched on this. So our teaching is research-based in the sense that all of our academics are researchers, and they're very enthusiastic about their research, and they use some parts of that in their master's degree teaching. So introducing you to cutting-edge issues in their fields of study and expertise, and that is a really important part of what we do. In terms of assessment, we have a range of different assessments, as you can see on the slide there. One thing to emphasize is that we do not assess by the traditional examination method at master's level. So primarily essays, reports, and group work. Upon the successful completion of the taught part of your master's degree, you would then go on to undertake a 10,000 word dissertation. That's an independent piece of work, an independent piece of research. You're allocated a dissertation supervisor with which you'd have three set meetings during the dissertation phase, and that is completed between April and August during your studies. Next slide, please, Michelle. So beyond the classroom, so obviously when you do a master's degree at a law school and at the University of Edinburgh, obviously central to that is the academic work that you do. But it's really important to us that we provide you with the opportunities beyond that, and we encourage you to take advantage of them. Obviously, Michelle's talked about the wider university community and the student societies and sports clubs that you can join. Here at the law school, I just want to provide you with a few different illustrations of the opportunities we provide. The law school every year has various different mooting opportunities for our law students. So the competitions that our mooting teams enter each year do vary, but we do have a wide variety of different mooting opportunities if that's something that you're interested in. We also have a vibrant range of guest speakers and seminars, and they are usually form part of either some of your program, but also they can be organized by the various research centers and networks that I mentioned earlier. And we already mentioned the Postgraduate Law Student Society. There will be some ad hoc opportunities for research assistance for those of you who are looking for those opportunities, and here and there are opportunities for work-based placements as well. Whilst internships are a core part of our teaching, our academics do have well-developed networks and will let you know of any internship opportunities that become available. As Michelle mentioned earlier, we do offer a career opportunities program, and that's a really good opportunity to hear from various different law firms that come to speak to our students, but also other speakers from other organizations as well, not just law firms. And also we have alumni who come back to speak to our students about their careers and what was involved in their journey in terms of getting to where they are now. Next slide, please.
Okay,
I'll just hand back to you, Michelle.
I think that's back to me. Thank you so much, Toby. And now, just briefly, I'd like to give you some further information about the School of Social and Political Science. As you can see here, some of the numbers on the screen, we do have a very diverse and international community with staff and students who have joined us from countries right the way around the world. We are one of the largest schools in the university, with a community of around 3,000 students and 400 staff. Through our teaching and our research, we're addressing many challenges facing society and impacting lives, from family, gender, race, health, and mental health to politics, poverty, sustainability, and technology. Our research and education interests are diverse, but connected by a commitment to achieving societal benefits and addressing social inequalities. We're also one of the largest and most successful centres for social and political science scholarship internationally. And you can see here some examples of some of the many research centres and institutes based in social and political science, where academics from across our school collaborate on interdisciplinary research to explore and address some of society's greatest challenges. We have the Europa Institute, one of the most active specialist centres of advanced study on European integration in the UK and Europe. The Global Health Policy Unit, which is an interdisciplinary team committed to addressing major global health policy challenges facing countries of all income levels, through to RACED, which is a network concerned with race and decolonialisation. So as you can see, we have quite a rich breadth of different research centres. In terms of our postgraduate top portfolio, we offer 20 programmes of postgraduate study in our different subject areas. So in global health policy, international development, politics and international relations, science, technology and innovation, sociology, social anthropology, social and public policy, and in social work. So we offer a number of fairly broad programmes, and we also have a few small niche specialist programs in each of these areas as well. We also offer PhD opportunities in each of our subject areas. We believe strongly in encouraging students to question the social, political and technological systems and structures that surround us, and we'll provide opportunities to develop answers to these questions through your studies with us. As Toby mentioned, we're very much a research intensive institution, and all of our top programmes are informed by the research of academic colleagues who are experts in their fields. You can see here some examples of research recently published by faculty members from politics and international relations, just as an example. Many of our top programmes have only one or two compulsory courses, which provide students with the opportunity to select your electives from a rich and diverse list of multi and interdisciplinary options. I have an example here of the course choices for the current year for the Masters in International Relations. So students will take 6 classes, 3 in the first semester, another 3 in the second semester, and there are only 2 which are compulsory and they underpin knowledge of the discipline. The other 4 students are actually able to choose, and as you can see here, the options are really quite extensive and quite broad right across the discipline. So whatever area students are interested in, there's bound to be an elective focused in that area. In terms of how we study and learn, through a combination of lectures, seminars, case studies and exercises to prepare for your seminars each week, working on independent research and preparing for project work, either group projects or individual activities as well. Master's study is largely self-directed, and the contact teaching time for each course is probably not much more than 3 to 4 hours each week. However, all of our courses are full-time, and we will be expecting you to be spending full-time hours working towards your programme of study. I just wanted to tell you briefly about a unique feature of our postgraduate portfolio in social and political science, and that is that students on one of our eligible master's programmes, so not all of our programmes, but the majority of our programmes, do have the opportunity to apply to complete an 8 to 10 week research project with an external organisation. During this placement, they will undertake a specific short-term research assignment, which will then inform the master's dissertation. These placement-based dissertations provide excellent opportunities for students to think through theoretical ideas in real-world context. The university will advertise a number of projects through our placement office, which students can submit an application for. Or alternatively, if you already have an industry linked, maybe you've completed an internship previously or a part-time job, or you know someone maybe working with an NGO or a charity overseas and you'd like to work with them, you can propose the placement yourself. And in collaboration with our placement team, they will have to undertake some due diligence and be in touch with that organisation. But often that is also possible that we can make arrangements for you to do so. Recent placements have been undertaken with think tanks, charities, NGOs, community-based groups in Edinburgh and the rest of the UK, but also overseas as well. We've had students travelling out to India, to Nepal, to Kenya, to Argentina, and to Zimbabwe in recent years. Graduating from the university will mark the beginning of your lifelong membership in the alumni community. Alumni are former students of the university and are one of the three central pillars of the university, comprising staff, students, and alumni. So we have some pictures there of our recent graduates. So once you graduate from us, you will become part of the alumni network, and this will open up the opportunity and connections for you to share your experience, learn from one another, and stay connected to the School of Social and Political Science, but to the wider university as well, from wherever you are in the world. So I would definitely recommend that you join the alumni network once you finish your studies with us. And I'm going to finish with a very short video, which will only last a minute or two, which highlights many of the themes of our social policy programmes, which we found are very popular overseas. But you'll also see some footage of our beautiful city. Hopefully this will work. Okay, so that was the School of Social and Political Science. And now we'll just briefly take you through the application process, provide some hints and tips. We won't take too long because I am conscious that time is moving on and we want to ensure that we leave time for questions. Toby, do you want to come in here regarding applying to the law school?
Sure, yeah, thanks, Michelle. Very briefly, the law school has two selection rounds. So we have two application deadlines during the application cycle, and they are on the slide there. So the first application deadline being the 13th of January, with places being awarded by the 17th of April. The second application deadline is the 29th of May, with places being awarded by the 30th of June. We do make offers to the strongest candidates on an ongoing basis and in advance of those published decision deadlines as well. In terms of our entry requirements, we require a 2-1 UK honours degree or its international equivalent. So for India, that would be a bachelor's degree with a minimum grade of either 60% or more, or a GPA of 8 on a 10-point scale. In terms of the other parts of your application, we do take into account relevant work experience. It's not a requirement, but it may increase your chances of acceptance. We do also take into account any relevant professional qualifications you may have. As I said earlier, it is competitive to get an offer to study at Edinburgh, and so preference will be given to those with grades above the minimum requirements, just due to the strong competition for places. An essential part of the application is your personal statement, and we do encourage applicants to take their time on this part of the application. It's your chance to communicate your motivations for wanting to study the specific program to which you are applying to, your motivations for wanting to study at Edinburgh as well, and what you feel you can bring to the program, as well as what you're looking to do after graduating as well. So we do encourage you to take time on that. In terms of our English language requirements for law, the university accepts a number of English language tests. On the slide here, we're just providing the IELTS requirements. So a total of 7, with at least 7 in the writing component and 6.5 in each of the other modules. We do also require a tuition fee deposit of £1,500 for some of our degrees as well. Michelle, I'll hand back to you for your application details.
Thank you so much, Toby. In terms of applying to the School of Social and Political Science, very similar to programmes in the law school, there are 2 main application deadlines for our staged admissions programmes, which comprise quite a significant number of our programmes. We are trying to make offers as quickly as we can. And some offers have already been made, some more will be made prior to the Christmas break, with some more to follow in January as well. So I would probably just encourage students to apply as soon as possible. In terms of our programmes not on this list, we operate rolling admissions, and again, we are endeavouring to process those applications as quickly as we possibly can. In terms of entry requirements, more or less the same as applications to the law school. We don't currently have any deposit requirements for any of our programs in SPS. And I think that brings me to the end of the slides. So thank you for staying with us. Toby and myself do have our email addresses there on the screen. I'm sure we'll be able to share them with you in the chat box as well. If we do have anyone looking for an update on your individual application or anything you'd like to speak to us about in regards to your own personal circumstances, please do feel free to reach out to us directly. And we would suggest that you don't share personal details on the live session, as obviously there are many other students here as well who would then have access to your information. So if we could ask you to please email us directly with any queries of that nature. I'm now going to stop sharing the screen, hopefully, and hand back to Yukti.
Thank you so much, Michelle and Toby, for giving us this insightful presentation. Now time for Q&A session. I will help you call out the question from the YouTube chat box. So the first question is, are there any opportunities for internship or practical experience in the program?
Thank you. That's a really good question. So in social and political science, there is not a formal internship period within the program where students would go out into industry for maybe a month or something like that. Mainly because it's a 1-year taught master's program, so there is not a lot of time to get through all of the academic content. However, we do have the placement-based dissertation in the 3rd semester, which is very, very popular with our students and does allow for some hands-on development of skills and bringing all of the programs to life. Many of our students do take up some sort of maybe work placement throughout the term as well, which they can find support from with the student development team, but there is not a formal compulsory internship period within the programs. Toby, I think it's broadly similar with the law school.
Yes, absolutely, Michelle. It's internships don't form a formal part of our programs. we do offer a work-based placement opportunity instead of the traditional desk-based dissertation for our LLM in human rights. But as you say, there is support available to any of our students through either our individual schools, but also through the university's career service in terms of guidance and support in terms of applying for internships. And we certainly encourage all students to take advantage of the support that's available.
So next question is, how does the University of Edinburgh prepare students for professional practice in law or political careers?
So I'll probably go ahead first, Michelle. So in terms of the law school, as we mentioned, we do have our career opportunities program. So that does offer great insights into working in various different areas of law. So we do invite people from various law firms based either in Edinburgh, but also widely in the UK, and also from other institutions. So you get a good insight into the into working law firms, but what's involved in specific areas of practice as well. We do also contact various alumni to provide their perspectives to students throughout the year. Some coming to actually speak to our students in person, others just providing either online sessions or interviews. As I also mentioned, we do have the university's career service, and they are a great resource for students to take advantage of in terms of getting support for applying for different careers as well. And what I would say as well, studying at the master's level at Edinburgh, you have a lot more of a closer connection with the academic staff that are teaching you. So do take advantage of those opportunities to speak to academic staff, some of which have worked in practice as well. So they will be able to give you their insights. A lot of the academics in the law school, as I said, have either worked in practice or various different NGOs or international organizations before coming to become an academic at the law school. I'll hand over to you, Michelle.
Thank you, Toby. Yes, similar in SPS, the student development team will work with students throughout the year, as I mentioned during the presentation, and they have a number of different networking events and opportunities where local employers will come onto campus and speak with students about the opportunities that they can offer. A number of our classes also have alumni who will come in and give a guest lecture, and they will provide an insight into their careers as well. So certainly lots of support available.
So next question is, how accessible are the professors and academic staff for advice and guidance?
That's a very good question. And I appreciate it. It does vary from one institution to another and in different countries across the world. Here in Edinburgh, I would say that our academic staff are incredibly accessible and approachable for students. In social and political science, most of them have their offices in our main building. And in the law school, Toby will correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure that they mostly have their offices in and around the beautiful buildings that you can see behind Toby. Most of them have what we call office hours, so they'll have advertised times when they will be available in their rooms or online if students want to make an appointment. Maybe they're taking a class led by that particular member of staff and they have a question regarding an essay that they've been set, or they've not understood something that's been discussed in a lecture, and they would like to discuss it in more detail. They can book an appointment. They also, particularly in SPS, can just call in if students are in the building and see a member of staff in the corridor or see them in their office. You can just approach them. They might not be able to speak immediately if they have other commitments, but they would be able to advise about setting up an appointment. So very, very approachable, very informal as well. You know, we all use first name terms. A student would not usually address a lecturer in SPS as, you know, Professor Smith. It would just be first names, quite informal. And I would say that, you know, we have a very welcoming community. Toby, I don't know if you have anything to add.
No, I think it's definitely the same. I think, as you say, for law school, I think for the university as a whole, Michelle, and I think um, the only thing I'd add is that, yeah, I mean, especially if people are interested in, say, possibly going to PhD study as well. I mean, academics are definitely always interested to talk to students there, and I think the as you say, it's about becoming part of a community. So it's it's not just the student community. You're becoming part of the school's community, and you will have those connections with the academics that are teaching you, and I know for a number of our academics, they do stay in contact with the students that they've taught. And I think those kind of that lifelong connection that you'll have to the university and to the school that you've studied with is really, really important and be really helpful in terms of your career going forward as well.
So next question is, what are the typical entry requirement for law, politics, or social science courses?
So for law, and I think it's the same for social and political science as well, it's a minimum grade of 60% or a GPA of 8. That I would say is the minimum requirement. As we mentioned, it is competitive to get in. So meeting the minimum entry requirements, it does not guarantee an offer of a place on our programs. So obviously the stronger your grades, the higher your chance of being made an offer. But if you do meet the minimum entry requirements and you are interested in studying at Edinburgh, we'd certainly encourage you to make an application.
So last question is, can you tell me more about work visa post-study?
Yes, certainly. So once a student completes their period of study here at Edinburgh, they would usually then meet the eligibility criteria to apply for the post-study work visa. And this visa entitles the student to work in the UK for a period of 2 years. There are no requirements that need to be in any particular field of employment. Many, of course, do take the opportunity to start thinking about future graduate level employment and the discipline they've just graduated from and try to get some experience in the field. That could initially start perhaps as a paid placement or internship, which perhaps colleagues in the law school or in SPS have assisted the student in finding out about through one of the many networking opportunities. Other students venture out into the field of work and go straight into full-time employment. Of course, almost all students will fall in love with Edinburgh and want to spend the 2 years here in our beautiful city. However, the visa is valid for working throughout the UK. So if an opportunity with a law firm in London or elsewhere was to present itself, the student would very much be entitled to go and live and work anywhere in the UK that they wanted to.
So I've covered all the questions from the YouTube chat box. Thank you for answering all the questions so well. Would you like to share any final words?
I think in terms of final words, I would probably just advise students to submit your application as soon as it's ready. Obviously, you do want to spend some time on your personal statement because many of our programs in law and social sciences are very competitive. And we do have a number of students who exceed our minimum entry requirements who apply every year. So definitely spend some time on your personal statement. Provide us an insight into why you would be the ideal candidate for your particular programme here at Edinburgh. Perhaps offer us an insight into your future career aspirations, what you would gain from the programme, also what you can bring to our community. Good idea to spend some time on the university website, really drill down into the details of the course. For each degree, you can see the list of all the electives you could choose from. If you click on the title of the electives, you can find out more details about the specific syllabus, the teaching, the professors who'll be involved. You can very easily find the professors online, look into their research opportunities, maybe read one of their papers. Mention all of that research and what you've found out about in your personal statement. That will really, really help to convince Toby and I's colleagues in the admissions team that you are really a strong candidate. And as soon as you've done that, we would probably recommend submitting your application as soon as you feel ready to do so. And that way we'll be able to turn it around for you as soon as we can also, because we do understand that many students have scholarship application deadlines and obviously arrangements to make for moving to the UK. So wherever possible, we will try to make offers to strong candidates in advance of our published deadlines if you're able to submit your application to us. And of course, Yukti and the team at SI UK will be very happy to help you with submitting your applications and guiding you through the process.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your valuable time. All the audience, if you have any further questions, please feel free to contact the SI UK India office. For more update, do follow us on our social media handles. Bye bye. Take care. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Thanks,
much,
everyone.
everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yukti. That was really, really enjoyable.
One second. Thank you so much, Michelle.